Hi there, Gemini. How are you guys doing? I really hope that this video finds you well. Welcome back to the channel. It's me, Anisa from the Inner Stereo. This is going to be your love general messages as a general reading, so the rules might get reversed or it may or may not resonate with you. And if this reading resonates with you, there's going to be a link down the description box below for a personal reading with me. In this reading, Gemini, it's going to be a universe system format. I'm going to be pulling card about who is it that we're going to be talking about today, your challenges, past, present, future from both parties, and we're going to clarify them. And I'm also going to be pulling some advice card for you by the end of the session, okay? That's really interesting. I do feel that you guys are kind of like practically mirroring one another. There's a situations in which you're not really having like a lot of faith in. I think when it comes to this connections, they do have like a lot of faith, but it kind of like makes you questions about things. However, the persons in which we're going to be talking about today, their current energy, they have the Nine of Wands, the Fool card, and also the High Priestess in that preposition. I do feel that right now this person is much more in the evaluation phase where they're kind of like keeping like a lot of things to themselves, and they're just basically fully trying to observe while not really showing everything that is in their cards, like just not showing everything right now. And I think one of the reason for that has a lot to do with them here. I do feel that this person is a wounded warrior, so it's either they've been wounded because of this connection or they've been wounded with something that happened to them in the past. Now, there is like a lot of a lot of impulses and a lot of desires to want to take a giant leap of faith within these connections, but I think because of those traumas, it kind of like made them a bit hesitant and having like a little bit of an apprehension, because they are wondering to themselves, like, if I were to be giving this my investment, or if I were to be giving this energy towards Gemini, would that burn me, or would that finally come to a very successful and happy relationship for me? So there's like a lot of hesitancies and apprehensions that I'm sensing from this person and from your side as well. Now, in the past, they have the Six of Swords and also the Four of Swords in reverse. From your side, you have the Ten of Swords, and then you also have the Six of Cups in upright position. I do feel that this is a situation that is not current, very recent, or it's not really like a new person that you're encountering with, because I do feel that there was a history within the connection where they really tried to slowly move away from these connections because they feel that it triggers a lot of them, from them, I mean. Now, they tried to, but I feel that because it's all ruled by swords, so it's like they tried to escape, but like they can't, because they could not stop thinking about you, and they feel that this is a very strong soul connections that is happening between the both of you. And I do feel that for some of you as well, like there is like a little bit of a telepathic link between the both of you, that kind of like you just know when this person is thinking about you, and this person just knows when you're thinking about it. But that's just for some of you. Okay, in the present moment, you have the Four of Pentacles and you also have the Temperance card. I do feel that right now you guys are being very stingy. I'm not gonna say it's stingy, but you're trying as much as you could to be very safe and secure. Okay, you are trying, it's like there are people who is going to come after you here, Gemini, especially this week. And I feel that the way in which you're going to be approaching that situation is more about like, I'm not going to be investing anything too early. I'm not going to be opening up my heart chakras just way too early. I'm just going to go with the flow and see where this goes. I believe that, universe is preparing something that is beautiful for me. So I am going to wait and see how it goes. Now, from this person's side, they have the Ace of Swords and they also have the Lovers. I do feel that you would receive some sort of a communications or like a little bit of a confessions of love, okay, or how they feel towards you. I do feel that there's someone here who really wants to be communicating about the feelings that they have for you. Now, in the future, they have the Eight of Pentacles and also the Three of Pentacles. So after that communication, I do feel that they're going to be putting in a lot of practical, tangible work within the connection, possibly wanting to, collaborate within the connections, and they're just going to be very on to you. But I feel that in the future, you are the King of Pentacles in reverse, and you also have the Seven of Wands. So it's either you feel that it's way too soon, or you feel that it could be a new person, or it could be like a past person. We're going to clarify what this is, but I do feel that in the future, you'd feel a bit attacked. You feel that their wants or their desires to want to work on these connections make you feel a bit attacked. Or clarify, yeah? So what is the challenge within this connection is 10 of Pentacles in reverse and also the 6 of Pentacles in upright position. Simple and very straightforward. One of the challenges within this connection has a lot to do with the unequal give and take. Now let's clarify the present moment. I'm going to start with you, with the 4 of Pentacles here. Okay, Strength card, 2 of Swords, and also the King of Swords in upright position. I feel that you want to fight or you want to go when it comes to love connections smarter. Okay, you are not going to be allowed. You just look for things that make sense. You're not going to be falling for people who are just sweet talking you, or people who are just going to be future faking, or people who are just going to be promising you this and that. But you truly, truly want to protect your heart chakras, to really see things from a very logical perspective, whether or not it's worth of your investment or not, which is good. Okay, let's clarify the Temperance. You're giving this very like cold and detached aura to Gemini. 5 of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, and also the Hanged Man. I feel that you guys are very much focused a lot more on yourself because that's the one thing that you can control, right? I feel that you guys are going to be learning like a lot of things within this week as well. And I think this very guarded type of energy that I'm sensing from you has a lot to do with trauma. Somebody hurt you in the past year, the one that you've been fully vulnerable to, and you just took it as a trauma and you're like, no, I wouldn't want to go to that route again unless I'm sure that, that is safe for me to, open up again. Which is, again, what, as I said earlier in the beginning, it's like you're mirroring one another here. They have trust issues, you do have trust issues as well. Now let's clarify from their side with the Ace of Swords. 10 of Pentacles, the 5 of Wands, and also the Page of Wands. Okay. I think one of the reasons why you guys are having a little bit of a trust issues when it comes to this person is because you feel that, yeah, you do see that there's a potential for you to build on like a strong and stable relationship with them that lasts for a long time. But you also see this person as being either childish, immature, or have like a player-like type of energy in them where they are a bit rebellious or they're a bit way too playful. And it kind of like makes you wonder whether or not this Page of Wands is capable of building this 10 of Pentacles with you. Now let's clarify the Lovers. King of Pentacles, the 8 of Wands, and also the World card. If you're single and ready to mingle, I do feel that there's a new person coming into your life. It could either be an Earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But again, I feel that your love is not really a part of your big focus or main focus in the now. You're very guarded here, Gemini. But anyway, if you're dealing with an Earth sign, I feel that there's going to be like a lot of communications in regards to, it's going to be like a lot of passionate communications back and forth. And also there's going to be like a lot of talks in either one, how to lessen the distance that is between the both of you, and how can you do something. For some of you, you might be also planning to do something in Capricorn season, so that's going to be by the end of the year. But it's more about having a communications in which is going to bring some sort of like a clarity within the connection. Now let's clarify the King of Pentacles in reverse from your side in the future. The Wheel of Fortune, the Ace of Swords, and also the 8 of Cups. Oh. Clarify the 7 of Wands. Ace of Cups, the Empress, and also the Ace of Pentacles. There's this changing of energy that I'm seeing from you here, Gemini. Who you were before is different than who you are in the now. What you wanted in the past is different than what you wanted in the now. It's more about that journey of finding yourself, of like, okay, you know what? Now that I am much more understanding of my value and what kind of I can bring to a relationship, and you start looking for people with the same value as yours. And there's a difference is when we're trying to look for a love story and when we're trying to look for a life story, right? Like if we're looking for a love story, we're going to be depending a lot more on that chemistry, on that connection. But when we're looking for a life story, we want to be looking at a different perspective. We're going to see like, how is this person's family? What is this person's value? Is this person is as religious as me, or this person isn't that religious, just like me. Something that got to do with like, is this person loyal? Is this person a family person? And one of the reason why you're caring about that is because you know yourself if you're a family person or not. So there's like values here that you're looking for in someone, and that also will make you have a little bit of a changes, of course, because I do feel that this person has always been that person that you've wanted, or whatever here is everything that you've always wanted. Is like the universe is like, okay, Gemini, you've always wanted this, I'm going to give you that. But there's a disinterest coming from you because you're starting to understand what you want and who you are as a person, which is beautiful. Now let's clarify the Eight of Pentacles from their from their side. Three of Swords, Queen of Cups, and also the Star card. Clarify the Three of Pentacles here. Two of Cups, Nine of Cups, and also the Three of Wands. Yeah, you don't want this. You don't want this at all. I do see this person sees you as their wish fulfillment. They would really want to be engaging with you emotionally here. They would truly want to be loving you and wanting to repair whatever it is that is broken. If it's a new person, you might be, sharing to them what happened to you in the past, and they try to like be very, very understanding about your past. But again, it's just something that it's not what you want. Three of Pentacles, Two of Cups, Nine of Cups, and also the Three of Wands. They really want to strategize what is out there for you. But again, I do feel that it just kind of like makes you feel, in Indonesia, we call it like grah, meaning that you're like, oh, why are you bothering me? And it has a lot to do with you finding yourself and finding what is it truly that you would like to have in a relationship, and also starting to see things from the practical side of it. Okay, now let's pull some advice card for you here, Gemini. And I think it also has a lot to do with the differences. I forgot who got this in their reading, but it's more about the differences in the approach, where this person is much more of an emotional person. I'm not saying that you're not, but I feel that you guys are much more focused on building a life story with someone. And again, as I said, when you're trying to build a life story with someone, how you vet people is going to be very different than how you would vet someone just for the sake of a love story. Yeah. Now let's pull some advice card for you here, Gemini. The Devil, the Ten of Cups, and also the Two of Swords. Yep. I do feel that you're right now in a you're right now in a place where you're starting to understand healthy connections versus toxic connections, and you're also starting to understand the differences between a love bonding and also a trauma bonding. So I think by the end of the week, or at least by the end of the month, you guys are going to be asking yourself, am I really in love with this person, or am I in trauma with this person? Because you're done with being in trauma bonded in a connection. And I think that's also one of the reasons why you're trying to keep your heart very guarded here, and trying to judge or decide things very, very logically, because there were a point in time in your life where you're always, been a, I'm not going to be a slave. Yeah, kind of like a slave towards your chemistry, or kind of like a slave towards your emotions. And you're not going to be allowing your heart again to overrule your head decision, which is a good one. I think by the end of the week or by the end of the month, there are going to be people who you are going to be cutting out of your life. And I know Gemini, like I have like a lot of Geminis in my life. My mom is one, like all of my families are Geminis. And they have the tendency here to feel bad about like, oh my god, am I being too harsh, am I like kind of like regretting the decisions of when they're starting to either enforce their boundaries or trying to cut people out of their life. But I feel that if you truly wants to manifest something that is good for you, which is a life story here, this type of decisions by the end of it is very, very necessary for you. Okay, so Gemini, I think that is it for my reading for you here. I hope that you find tons and tons of clarity that you've been looking for, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week for another weekly reading. All right, bye guys, have a great day. I love you.